All right. Welcome, everyone. Francine and I are so excited to share with you today strategies on social media. I think that the thing to remember when it comes to social media is things are always changing, right? Just when you feel like you might be getting some traction, things change. And so we really want to provide you with the most up-to-date knowledge and experience of what is working to attract new leaders now, attract new customers, and also help our team and help attract our team. And so we're really excited about sharing with you today. If you have a notebook and pen, feel free to grab that to take some notes. And this will be all recorded. So we're going to give you a lot of information, but don't worry. You can get the recording easily accessed as well as pass that on to your teams, because I know not everyone was able to make this on live. So going to just share. Okay. Does this work okay?
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, wonderful. All right, go ahead, Francine.
All right. Well, thank you, Katie, for asking me to do this with you. I'm so excited because my background is in psychology and education, and I've also had a Shaklee business for 24 years. Um, in addition to my Shaklee business, in the last several years, I also took it upon myself to get a certification in gut health and to become a life coach because as a school social worker for a number of years, I have a master's degree in psychology, and the mind has always interested me. And when I was starting my business, I thought I needed all of the tools, and the tools are important, but I realized that whenever I got stuck, it was always something between my ears, right? It was my brain that was getting me stuck. It wasn't not having the right tools. It wasn't not having systems in place perfectly. All that stuff is important, so important. But we have to accept responsibility for a big portion of our activity too. So on the next slide, we'll go ahead and get started. But Katie does such a beautiful job with providing content, but I reached out to her because it kind of gave me some, excuse me, a flashback to when I was starting, and I knew that if Katie had been around in 1999 doing this beautiful content back then, I would have latched onto it and thought, this is my magic ticket. This is the thing I need to grow this business and be successful because Katie's successful. So I just need to latch on to what she's doing and everything will be okay. And it's not how it works. It's a piece of it, an important piece. But today we're also going to talk about what else goes into content creation, the stories we tell ourselves, stress, comfort, growth zones, all of those things, thinking about our mind through it all. So the next slide will get us started. When we're talking about content creation, it's so important because social media is such a big part of our world these days, right? And it's probably a big part of your business. I pulled a couple statistics, and over 302 million United States people, citizens, are on social media, and 68% of them use Facebook. So it is someplace that is wise for us to hang out at. It's free advertising. It gives us exposure to more people. Even if our friends aren't online, that's actually a good thing because when you're growing a business, hopefully you're going to expand beyond that initial circle anyway. You need a cold market. So social media does that for us. But when we're creating the content, which is what we're putting out on social media, it's kind of like a train. We live in central Missouri. We have a lot of trains that go through our town, and there's always an engine and there's always freight cars. When you're thinking about content creation, you need both the engine and the freight car to get where you're going. So the engine is the brain, it's the energy, it's your mindset, it's your vision. And the cars contain the tools, the freight, the Shaklee products, whatever you're selling, that's what's you're carrying behind you. Both are required to leave the station and to get to your destination. If you have an engine without freight, it may look like reading a book or taking a course, but then not doing anything with the information that you're learning. If you have freight, but no engine, you may have the best product in the world, but you don't have any way of getting it to where it needs to go. So we need fuel, right? In the course of this little analogy, the fuel is BS. So BS isn't what you think it stands for, although that is a piece of it sometimes, but it's your belief system. And the thing about our beliefs are so much bigger than the facts. It can become our identity, the things that we believe. Looking back on when I started in 1999, I became a director really quickly, but I was so people fed. I was so dependent on what people thought. And I thought I needed to, again, attach my wagon to a certain person, or I needed a certain course or tool or something. Back then it was cassette tapes. So I needed all the cassette tapes to share with people. But that wasn't what was the magic sauce. And so I reverted. And for a number of years, actually, I didn't do anything with my business. And some of you know my story. I went through a divorce. I was a single mom for a number of years. But in 2015, I came back and I retired as a school social worker, and I knew I wanted to grow my business, but I knew I need to do personal development. And I did. I really dug in. I started just reading books and learning about the mind. And I grew to director again. And from 2015 till now, I have never reverted. My team has continued to grow. Our business has continued to grow. But it's because I know now that I have something to offer. My identity is not out there attached to a thing or even the product. Your mindset will protect you from the stories you tell yourself. Like we may have a favorite product that Shaklee chooses not to offer anymore. That's okay. You still have a lot of value to offer that's not tied to a product or a specific thing. So we need to think of yourself as a victim. When it comes down to determining whether you're a victim or a visionary, it's really, again, your mindset. Are you stuck in scarcity thinking, or are you thinking more abundantly? That BS stuff, those belief systems, that can be the rocket fuel or the thickest muck that will keep you wherever you are right now. So the responsibility piece is so important. And people who are super successful, or not even, but people who've had some success, people who can get into action, they'll tell you that there is a sense of personal responsibility there. There are things that we can control in life, and there are things we cannot control. We can't always control the circumstances that we walk through. We can't always control our feelings. We can't always control the outcome, but we can control our thoughts about those circumstances, our thought about those feelings, our thoughts about those outcomes. That's why I became a mindset coach, because I realized a lot of people were just throwing it out there that they've been dealt these circumstances that are really difficult. And so therefore, they must not be able to be successful in this business or whatever else they're doing. They were letting their thoughts determine their outcomes. Your thoughts will impact the feelings that you have, and your feelings will impact your behavior. Your behavior is either what you do or don't do. And so depending on what those thoughts and feelings are doing, your behavior could be that you don't do anything. And so as a result, you may not have the results you want because you don't have the action. So sometimes people think they need to be motivated, or they need to be, all charged up to go before they can get the result. But again, it's just your thought. Your thought will help you determine what you need to focus on, how you need to prepare yourself, how you need to show up in the world in order to show up consistently, no matter how you are feeling. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, Craig Groeschel has a book called Winning the War in Your Mind, and I highly recommend it. So when we're talking about content creation and getting out there, that really is a leadership piece. And leadership requires growth. There are several zones that you will travel through. We have the comfort zone, where people tend to hang out, and because it's called the comfort zone, we think it's comfortable. We think it's like that big, recliner at mom's house that everybody wants to climb into. But you can get really stuck there. No outcomes happen in the comfort zone. It's your safety zone for sure. But, sometimes you hear stories about, I used to be a social worker. So I hear stories sometimes about women who were involved in these really abusive relationships, and they would leave the relationship, but then they would go back, and you wonder why does that happen? That's because that's a comfort zone to them. I mean, there's a lot more. I'm oversimplifying it, but part of the reason is it's easier to deal with what you know versus what you don't know. So the comfort zone is where the outcomes remain the same. You can also outgrow your comfort zone. And something also interesting with the comfort zone is when you outgrow your comfort zone, it puts stress on other people in your system too. So, we all live in a system, our families are impacted when we grow too. So that's why sometimes when you're trying to grow a business or reach another goal, you may get pushback from your spouse or your family members because they're feeling uncomfortable too, because they're feeling your growth and they may not be ready to grow yet, like you are. So then we have the stress zone. And everybody knows, there's stress in life, but we're not necessarily talking about that kind of stress. Some stress in life is actually very powerful. It keeps you alive. It's why God gave us that in our life. But when we're talking about the stress zone, it's too much and it can be overwhelming and it causes our primal brain to start triggering things. You may have heard of like the fight, the flight, and the freeze responses. When we are in that stress zone, we can get very aggressive. That's when we want to lash out to somebody who doesn't agree with, a product that we're using or the fact that we're doing this business. Or we may just, decide we're not going to do it at all if we freeze, or we may decide we need more training, more coaching, more books, more leadership, blah, 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 before we get anything done. That's actually stressful. That's that stress zone because you're not accomplishing anything. The growth zone is where the magic happens. That's the sweet spot. That's where you have just enough stress that it causes you to grow, and your outcomes actually change. So that's where you want to be. The funny thing about the growth zone, though, too, is that it will eventually become your comfort zone. So, we are people who are not static creatures. That's always going to move. So it's something to pay attention to, but it's a sweet place to be. Showing up consistently on social media with quality content to connect with new people is growth for most people. So we're going to talk about how to do that now. So there are 3 steps: consistency plus quality, and then consistency, quality, and volume. So on the next step, I know I'm rushing through this, we have so much good stuff to give you. The next step is phase 1, which is just consistency, showing up. My friend Chelsea describes it as embrace the suck, because you're going to suck at first, right? It's going to feel like it's very uncomfortable. It's unnatural. You're in a growth zone again, remember. So it's not something that you're used to doing. It's not something where you're always comfortable. So your job in this zone is to show up. I've attached a couple of my early social media posts, and you may or may not know what I do for my job by looking at these things, but I was showing up, kind of, not always super consistently, but I was trying. When you're in the zone, again, your job is to show up every day. You're wanting to let people know you're interested in them. You want people to know that you can help them solve a problem. Relationships are not one-sided. So you want to show a piece of who you are, but you're interested in what they want too. I'm here to tell you that the only people in your life who care about the new comforter you bought for your bed are the friends that you have and maybe your family. The people who are probably going to be your lifelong customers might be mildly interested, but they are not following you on social media because you're showing your new comforter or the cute, new shoes that you bought today. That stuff is fun to throw in, but that's not what your main content should focus on. In this consistent zone, again, it's going to be uncomfortable. We need to also remember that we're also collecting data. So it's easy in the zone to get focused on the wrong type of data, looking at how many likes you're receiving, how many people are following you, how many people are buying at this point. That's not the data you want to collect. In this phase, what you're wanting to collect is information like, am I being consistent? Am I letting them know I'm open for business? I love quotes. I could post quotes all day long on my social media page, but I'm not an author. So I need to really make sure that that's not overpowering all the other content that I do about the wellness business that I have, because I'm not trying to sell a book about quotes, right? So you want to make sure when somebody comes onto your page, they know that you're open for business. Are you clear? We also need to avoid entitlement in this phase. It's easy when we're new at something to look for reasons, right? And sometimes you can get a little entitled where you might think, what's wrong with these people? Why isn't anybody buying yet? You know, I spent all this money on this tool or on this coaching. Why am I not seeing these results? Again, your job right here is just to show up. On the next slide, this is where you move into phase 2. And by the way, expect to be in phase 1 a good 3 to 6 months. Now, that's an average. It could go faster, it could go slower, but consistency takes time, right? It takes time to be consistent. You're building your muscle and also showing other people what you have to offer. In the second phase, you're continuing to be consistent, but you're also getting more quality in there. Here's some newer posts that I have, and you could tell it's obvious what I'm doing, you know, what business I have, why I'm showing up for people. So you're continuing to gather data about what works and what doesn't. Again, it's not necessarily about the number of people you're attracting. I did a reel one time on Instagram, and I used a song and kind of a template that Dylan Dreyer, she's the weather person on the Today Show, that she used for her family. And it was my highest reaching reel ever. It didn't do anything for my business. I mean, it was really fun, but it didn't do anything for my business. So don't get caught up on that kind of stuff. Get caught up again on, are people starting to reach out to me? Am I starting to have connections with people about things that I am selling? Am I getting results? If you are being clear, if you are being consistent, and if it's obvious that you're open for business, I can't stress that enough, then it's a quality issue. You know, we just need to work a little bit more on what you are putting out there with your content, which is where Katie's tools can really help. And then phase 3, which is the next slide, this is where you are continuing to be consistent, you're continuing to have quality, and you may increase your volume. And what I mean by that is using more than one social media platform, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be a social media platform. Email is really hot. People like email. Something else that it's less duplicatable, but I will tell you, I get my biggest results from is handwritten letters to people, or mail, you know, snail mail, cards, and information in the mail, samples, that kind of thing. They love that. So just continue to use the data that you're collecting and up level, remembering to be a maker, not a taker. You're putting out things to help people solve a problem or you know, reach an interest that they have. So as far as needing to expand to other social media platforms, you may or may not have to do that depending on where your people are, but just be mindful of what's working for you. So this was, I put this up here because this was a reel, again, I did not too long ago, but you'll see that arrow is pointing to the watch time. So if you do reels, that's actually more important than how many people are looking, is how long people are watching for, because you'll see if people are really engaged or just, you know, kind of flipping through as they're doing the scroll. So, okay, that was super fast, but those are the 3 phases. And then before Katie gets going, we'll come back and visit this, but I have some different ways that you can be in touch with me as well. I have a content creation guide that is a self-paced guide that goes over all these things that I just threw at you. Or Chelsea Holmes, some of you may know her. She's another mindset coach, and she and I have partnered up to offer a collab coaching mindset 3-month course with people that we have just started. So it's still open, and we would love if anyone's interested in diving deeper into this. We're going over like where your stories come from, how they're getting in your way, how to make sense of them, how to gather data based on what you're thinking, believing, and you get access to all of our tools too. So while you could buy the content creation guide as by itself as a member in the course, I'm calling it a course, it's more like a mastermind group. You get access to that as well as Zooms with us for 3 months, access through Slack, all kinds of goodness. So anyway, love to have you if that is something that is of interest to you. But now on to Katie, because she is going to talk about the content that is such a valuable tool to us in this whole piece.
Thank you so much, Francine. That was so, so helpful. And I agree with you that you have to work through the mindset piece in order to have success. I think that mindset really sets that foundation. So I am Katie Odom. For those that may not know me, I am a master coordinator in Shaklee with over 11 and a half years of experience, and also the Vault founder, which I'll talk more about at the end. But I'm really excited to dive into some strategies behind social media. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is your biggest pain point when it comes to social media? Is it getting interest? Is it converting somebody from being interested to purchasing? Is it getting people to actually engage in your material? Is it consistency? I would love to hear from you. What's your hardest thing about social media? Is it knowing what to post? Because let's be honest, it can be very overwhelming to always know what to post. And oftentimes you might be sitting thinking, oh, I should do a post, but I don't know where to post. So I want to start also by sharing something just in the last 24 hours that can really talk about the power of implementing what I'm about to talk to you about. So just in the last 24 hours, I have had 2 new people sign up yesterday. Today, I have a third person that would like to become a new member. I have somebody that reached out to me interested in the business. And I also had, I sold a youth kit too this morning. And I share all these things because over a year and a half ago, I was really struggling on my social media. And I felt like every time I went to post, there would be crickets. And it was frustrating. Or someone would be interested, but I couldn't seem to convert them from being interested to becoming a client or team member. I've actually always used social media a good part of my business, but there was a period of time where I really felt like I was struggling to attract new people. So if you are in that place today, just know that you're not alone. And this is why I'm so passionate about helping and equipping you with what I've learned along the way. So the first thing I want you to think about, and this is so, so important when it comes to social media, is to think about who your target audience is. I think that if you don't know who your target audience is, that's okay, that's normal, but you have to figure out who you are trying to speak to. In fact, so often we try to speak to everyone. We want everyone to become a member. We want anyone to join our team, right? But in reality, what we're sharing isn't for everyone. And when we get comfortable knowing that when we go to share on social media, we're looking for specific people, it takes the pressure off of us to speak to everyone. So these are just some questions to think about. What kind of content is valuable? What kind of content do you like seeing? What are the pain points and challenges that people come to you with in Shaklee? I can tell you right now, the pain point of many people right now is one, oftentimes people are wanting to feel better, gain more energy, lose weight, and financially, a lot of people could use some additional income. So I'm going to speak to those pain points and challenges that many people have. Maybe hormones is a big one for you because hormones are huge for women. So maybe that's the pain point that you feel really excited about sharing. And then what are you as a ambassador, as a advocate for them? How are you helping to solve those pain points? So I want to give you an example. Instead of posting a picture of the cleanse, a box of the cleanse, and hey, you can get this cleanse for, what if instead you posted a graphic that said the 10 signs you should do a cleanse? If I was somebody and I read that, I would think, I have low energy or brain fog, or I'm having trouble losing weight. I wonder what a cleanse could help me with. I'm addressing the pain points. Another example is this graphic I made on the top 5 inflammatory swaps. A lot of people don't think about inflammatory oils, processed foods, staying up too late, endocrine disruptors, and we can educate on those things. And so even just having graphics that are appealing and showing those simple swaps can really help you to stand out on social media. And knowing this can dictate the style and substance of your content. So I would like you to spend time today really thinking through who is your target audience and be specific with that. And when you go to make your next post, speak to them. Don't just speak to everyone, but speak to them. So I want to give you a couple examples because I always find that just like Francine did, which was such a great idea, seeing examples in real life can be really helpful. So I started off by just saying a simple fact about protein. Did you know adding in some protein to yummy desserts can help minimize blood sugar spikes? I bet you there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that. So this is helpful to help keep energy levels stable, stay focused, and with weight loss. And then, by the way, if you have not made these collagen brownies, screenshot this because these collagen brownies are so, so good. But in the video, I just simply showed a quick video of me making the collagen brownies. And at the very end, I took a bite of them. And so I share that because now people want to come to me to learn more about health tips. They want to come to me because they know I'm a resource for recipes. And they want to come to me because they know I'm adding value to them. This is another example of a post that I did recently, and I just talked about perimenopause, which is super fun. So here are some of the symptoms. Again, you will see the pain points that I am addressing to my ideal client. I am not speaking to men on this post. It's not that I don't want to help a man. It's just that this is my ideal target. And these are the people that I tend to attract. So I listed those things off. And then I talked about some interesting information about quality nutrition. And then I ended with a comment below hormone reset for my free balancing hormone guide. Now, this is really important because oftentimes on social media, we don't always have a clear call to action at the end of our post, and people don't know what to do. And until you guide them with the next steps, you're going to have little engagement on your post. And as you can see here, I have 63 comments that now I can reach out to and connect with on hormone reset. One of the things I teach inside the vault too is how to take these posts and put them in an email campaign to then have an email system set up for you that you then are able to drip Shaklee and have and then be able to help them to become a customer all through a simple email campaign. And I'll talk more about that at the end. So as we think about our social media, I really encourage you to think of it with three types of pillars: attract, build, and convert. So I'm going to be really, really honest. I think oftentimes I see people who struggle on social media because we get to the convert spot too quickly without focusing enough on the attract and build. If all we're doing is asking for a sale, asking for a sale, asking for a sale, we haven't built enough education and add value that then converts to people wanting to work with you. So this is where, and Francine said it so well with the consistency piece, this is where we have to get really, really good with helping, solving pain points, answering questions, and providing value. It can be something as simple as, I went to Costco today, and here are some of my favorite healthy swaps that I found from Costco. People love that because now I'm educating them on switching to organic peanut butter and how that can help you, and switching from processed seed oils to avocado or olive oil. And then they start to ask themselves, I wonder what else Katie can help me with. And so here's another example of using my meal prep guide where I just talked about some of the challenges that I personally experienced on my weight loss journey. And I found prepping a few things on the weekend really helped set me up for success. And then this is what they can get inside my free meal prep guide. And then they can comment below. And then again, I help set up an email campaign to then be able to convert them into a customer. So I want to talk also about storytelling. Storytelling can be super, super important in your business. And I want to encourage you to continue to learn about how to provide or tell an engaging story, and also how to have relevant visuals and invite your followers to join the conversation. So I want to give you a real life example of this. Actually, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. Oh, maybe. Okay. So this is a post that I did about 5 crazy things that can happen when you eat enough protein and fiber. And I talked about the 5 different things that can happen. And then they can comment below protein for my free protein hack recipe book. So this post is helpful because most people probably don't know the benefits of energy and increased digestion and an exercise routine that protein can have. And we all know and love our Life Shake. And so this is a really simple way to help people to start to get more protein in their diet. I also want to give you something that has really helped me on social media. And it's a very simple tip, but you're actually going to have more success with sharing one picture versus multiple pictures. I don't know why, but the algorithms at this point in time like when you just share one picture. And so it's just one simple picture of me. And then I talked about my few tips on protein and fiber, and then a clear call to action on how I can help them. Also, it's really important to have testimonials and reviews. This is especially important right now with youth because we have so many beautiful before and after pictures with youth. And we want to share happy customers. And there's a really easy way to do that. And that is when a customer or client texts you something like, I got this the other day. I drank tea, slept 9 hours, felt like deep sleep, woke up a couple times, but right back to sleep. Wanted to try for those nights I toss and turn. I screenshotted that and then I shared in my stories. It's not me selling that. Now it's that client who had that really good experience that's able to sell for me. The same thing goes with youth, the before and after pictures. I know Kim Wise, who's on my team, her neck picture goes around everywhere. It's so beautiful. It's such a great before and after. But again, you're showing results of the before and after transformation. I also think, and Francine talked about this too, user engagement is really important. If all we do is go to make a post or hop on and do a video and then we leave, you're not going to get increased engagement. So spend some time every single day engaging in other people's posts and your own posts. A helpful way to do this is just to set a timer for 10 minutes because you don't want to get lost in what everyone else is doing, but spend 10 minutes just engaging with other people and making sure to respond to comments on your post as well. The algorithms love this because now the people that you're engaging with are going to continue to see the posts and the materials that you provide. And it's important to remember that engagement is the heartbeat of social media. And this is why people go on social media. They don't go on social media to buy things or to be sold to. They go on social media to engage with other people. And so the more that we can solve problems for them and educate them and add value, the more that they're going to want to come to you as a resource. So I would love for you guys all to screenshot this challenge outline. And this may help those who maybe perhaps have felt like, oh, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. This is a helpful challenge that you can start today. And it's just going to outline a couple different things that you can do every day to help you with your social media. You can start with auditing your social media presence. I did this for someone yesterday, and just a few simple tweaks can make a really big difference. Do you have your mission statement, or do you have who it is that you serve in your bio? If you don't, you want to put that up, or people won't know what you even do or what you offer. So simple little things like that can make a really big difference. And so there's a lot of different information on here, but it's just helpful to know how to increase engagement and really help to grow on social media. Also, it's important to take time to really review your content that's worked well. What has worked well so that you can continue to create similar content. And so highlighting the areas of improvement, what are the topics or angles you missed out on? Did you identify any unmet needs of your audience? And really thinking through what's working well and how can I do more of that? And it's important to really audit our social media and to look at, okay, if I ever post a family picture, that gets a lot of engagement. So what does that tell me? That tells me that my audience really likes seeing my family. So maybe the next time I go to make a post on social media, I include my family in the picture. Simple things like that can really help. This is just another example where, again, I'm offering value and talking about breakfast swaps to add in protein. And I have some helpful visual aids to show that just simply by adding in some protein to your overnight oats, your chia seed pudding, or your proteins your waffles and pancakes can really help you to get some protein in first thing in the morning. And many people don't realize that this simple change can make a big difference for them. So hormones is a big thing. And so let's talk about supporting our hormones naturally. These are some swaps. I'm not just going to say, buy some GLA, buy some menopause balance. I'm going to talk about when we work with hormones, we need to work on less sugar, more fiber, cutting out artificial sweeteners, improving your sleep, managing stress, exercise, fewer inflammatory foods. So we're painting this holistic picture that we should always be doing with people in Shaklee. Just like we wouldn't say to someone on their weight loss journey, okay, just take Metabolic Boost. We're going to want to talk about their diet with them. We're going to want to talk about their stress, their sleep, all of those things. And then we realize we're helping them with more than just one product that we can offer them. Okay, so I have some really exciting things that I want to share more about. And then also Francine and I will take some Q&A. So be thinking about if you have any questions, I will open that up. But I have something free that I want to offer you all, and that is a creative content vault that I am going to post in the Shaklee Vault, which is my Facebook group, probably within the next hour. And when you get this guide, you'll also get the recording to this that you can use as well. But in there are 100 viral hooks, 90 days of content, and 13 ways to repurpose your content. And so I have that ready for you guys to go as soon as this webinar is over. So make sure you join the Shaklee Vault. There's a lot of materials that I provide for ambassadors to really help them in their business. And if you're not already in that, you can request to join. I also wanted to talk about 2 ways that I can continue to help you with your marketing and with your content that will help make social media easier and also help you save a lot of time. And when I say a lot of time, I mean over 30 hours a month. What I do is I provide done-for-you digital tools and resources that educate, that add value, that help you have a strong email system, and that help you stand out on social media. So for example, you can see here this healthy swaps on youth. Instead of just posting a picture of a youth and the 20% off, I'm going to educate on parabens, and I'm going to talk about endocrine disruptors. Where is that? I don't think I had. Oh, it's a whole carousel post on endocrine disruptors. And so now I'm educating people on endocrine disruptors, and they're going to be more likely to want to purchase youth after they learn that this is a very clean, safe skincare line. And this is loaded with a lot of materials. On top of 35 youth images, you're also going to get recipe books, onboarding guides, a bunch of ways that you can share social media on a social media in a way that will help you to stand out. So there's two ways that you can get started with that. There's the bundle and there's the Vault membership. The Vault membership is actually the best deal because it's only, it's an early bird special of $47, normally $59. And inside that, you're going to get, I think I forgot I forgot to upload the image. But inside that, you're going to get my library of training videos and tools. You're going to get the ambassador onboarding guide and a social media blueprint, and you're going to get access to all the tools that I have inside the Vault library, along with live training that I'm going to provide later this month. For anyone that's inside the Vault membership. You can cancel at any time, but that early bird rate is ending tomorrow. So if you are interested in that, it's a great time to get that, because inside you'll see here too, I have some welcome guides for your new members, and I have an opportunity presentation as well that you can use for the business. So picture a whole vault filled with resources to help you not only on social media, but also in your email and with new clients, and to attract new ambassadors as well. So if you have any questions, we would love, feel free to go. I'm going to stop sharing, and then feel free to go. Oops. Okay, there we go. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions.
Hi, Katie.
Hi,
I have a
Katie.
question.
Oh.
It's a duo.
Go ahead.
All right. Do you rotate your target audience? Let's say this week I want to focus on new moms or whatever, and then next week maybe it's about hormones, or do you stay consistent with your target audience forever?
That is a very, very good question, especially months like when we have youth on sale, right? Because my target audience tends to be hormones, weight loss, and then now Shaklee has youth on sale. And so I would say, yes, I do change it, but I try not to change it too frequently. But in a month like this month, when youth is on sale, this is a good time to be appealing to people who care about what's in their skincare, who care about endocrine disruptors. And so, yes, you can change it, but I would stick to one target audience for a while, because it takes time to, it's that consistency thing that Francine said. It takes time to build up that rapport with them. But I do pivot here and there depending on what Shaklee has going on, because you really want to maximize the promos that they have.
Katie, may I add something to that as
Yes.
well? If you have a particular niche, like for instance, I primarily educate on gut health, but I can still take a promo like youth and make that applicable to gut health, because we know that there's no harmful chemicals in there, the endocrine disruptors. I mean, there's a lot of things involved with youth that are actually helpful to the gut. So you can still tweak it. It just is putting your perspective and your unique spin on it, and you're showing up as you are, but you can still use the same promos.
I think, was it Jody that had a question? Someone else had a question.
I think, yeah, there is a couple of us. My quick question, I think I saw someone else had the same one, but in the membership vault, is it auto repay? Is it auto after the first month?
Yep, it'll be auto at that special $47 rate that you're locked into. So it'll be raised to 53 soon, but you'll be locked in at that $47 rate. Even as any prices increase, you're locked in at that special discounted rate. So every month, just to clarify, every month you get the monthly bundle that will be emailed to you at the beginning of every month, a live training with me every month, access to all the Vault library and tools, and any special ebooks that I create this month. For example, it's an onboarding ambassador guide and social media blueprint. So that's all inside the membership. If you don't want to do the membership, you can purchase anything as a standalone, but you're just not going to get all of those other things inside the membership. And then
Perfect. And when is your training for February? Do you have that on the February calendar? I haven't downloaded it yet.
yeah, I'm going to post it soon, but it is going to be the week of the 19th, and it'll be on building a strong email system. So I'm going to walk people through, okay, now what do I do, Katie, after I have people that want my recipe book? What do I send to them after that? People really want help with that. So it's going to be all about how to develop that strong email system that you have in place. I will post that date as soon as I finalize it.
All right. Thanks, Katie.
Welcome.
Hi, Katie and Francine. I have a question. Thank you first for doing this. This has been really fantastic and helpful. And what you just said actually kind of goes along with my question. I've purchased the other bundles, and I've seen the newsletter, but are there other email tools in the bundles? Have I just missed it, or are you just talking? Tell me more about that, I guess, is a good way.
Yes, that's a great question. So in the Vault February membership, there is a folder. Make sure you scroll down and it says important information for Vault members. Inside there are links to email, and there's also a guide that walks you through, I think it's like 5 emails on what to say to someone after you send a lead magnet on your first email, your second email, your third email. You're going to want to edit it a little bit, but it creates a foundation for you. And then also I created a onboarding email that you can also send to any new teammates. That is an email that's already done for you that you can then link to the onboarding ambassador guide. So as soon as you get a new teammate, you send that email, they have that guide. And here's the thing, I made that guide very, very, very simple because new ambassadors cannot be overwhelmed with 60 million things. You need to keep it super simple for them or they will get overwhelmed. And so I tried to make it super, super simple. But we'll talk more about all of those emails in my next training as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Hi there. I have 2 questions. One, you mentioned that all of the Vault tools are included in the membership. So I'm just wondering if they will all be housed in a specific place or if it's just all the different, Google Docs that we have.
That is all in that folder that says important resources. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a whole, I don't know, you have to scroll down, so I know it might be hard to see it, but inside there is a link to the training webinars, and inside there is also a link to all of the resources, like your new member guide, your business opportunity presentation, the healthy sweet treat guide for this month. All of that is all in a simple Canva document that is all in one central place. And if you have trouble with that, Katie, just send me a message if you need any more help finding that.
Okay. And then my other question is, I have always struggled with defining my niche. And was thinking this morning, like maybe I should poll my social media followers and kind of put a thing out there. Like, I'm not exactly sure what I would say, but just what is it you're struggling with right now? And maybe have a poll or just ask people for their pain points. Because I know you talk about pain points and I'm just not very good at creating content that speaks to a particular pain point.
We have to know and the other thing is, Katie, what do you like to see? Like, for example, I love following people with recipes. So I like to share recipes.